Good morning. A great week ahead, and we are ready for what I believe is going to be a power packed process of understanding some things about persuasion, power, positioning, and practical professional ways to win. Vince Lombardi said winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Psychology plays a big part in how you handle winning. We're going to take a look at some of the negotiation strategies and techniques that are necessary to build power. So, the first question you have to ask yourself as you look at all the people you surround yourself with, do you have more people power or position power? Because we're going to talk about why people power is much better for persuasion. And ask yourself this question: how many of the people you deal with daily tend to be more position power versus people power? You just don't fit with them. You try, you feel, they don't respond. So power is interesting. And as you well know in Wayne's World, and welcome to Wayne's World, I love acronyms. So me looking at a word like power, it's exactly what it says up on the screen. POWER. Psychology of winning equals results. You've got to have a mindset that you can, because if you think you can or think you can't, either way you're going to be right, but you don't have much power when you think you can't. You become your own worst enemy. So let's look at some basic beginning things. There's major characteristics about people that are in power and are better negotiators. First of all, they prepare. Preparation is become a word many people use. Some people say success is 90% inspiration, 10% preparation. I got a funny feeling it's even much larger towards the preparation, because no matter how inspired you are, if you are not prepared, many of you have been in situations, or you know people that have been, who weren't prepared when an opportunity arose. They weren't ready. They just couldn't react fast enough. You probably had buyers and sellers who weren't prepared. Also, we find out that powerful people have very high expectations. They rather reach out to the stars and miss than to shoot at the ground and always hit. High expectations. As we plan our 2023 business plan, our goals, our visions, what are your expectations? Now, you do not want to get yourself into an area where it becomes much more difficult to achieve. Goals must be practical, attainable, and reasonable. And goals have to be written down. They have to be basically something you want, not something somebody wants for you. And they've got to be attainable. Third component, this word is so interesting. We'll talk about it later today. Patience. Patience. The patience to listen. I've said it many times. Patience without persistence leads to paralysis. I often use a phrase, I understand, as I'm talking to people. I shake my head, I understand. I understand. And I use that because I'm going to be patient. Now, I have to be honest with you. Sometimes when I say understand, I don't understand. Sometimes when I say understand, I don't care. And sometimes when I say I understand, I understand. But it's a great word and a great body language to show you are listening, at least visually, when they see you're nodding and the words coming out of your mouth. But there's other body language issues also. Yeah, I'm listening. I understand. Bad body language. Leaning over towards them. I understand. Different feel. But you need the patience to listen. And then the key thing that many of us have to find in our own hearts is our integrity. Integrity is a rather interesting word if you look up the definition of it. What's your personal integrity? I had a personal integrity issue pop up this weekend in showing a property. And first of all, I had my feelings, but then I bounced it off to the people I trust. My confidential relationships with people I know will give me an honest analysis. And by the time I listened to those two people, plus my own decision, I felt that, yes, I did something. So I kept my personal integrity and I had an ethical way of resolving the problem. Now, you can read more about this whole concept of habits of successful negotiators and powerful people in Richard Shell's material. He's from the Wharton School, very intelligent professor. And I would suggest strongly you take a look at some of his materials that he's got available to you in the process. So with that said, we looked at last time we met the negotiation toolbox, and we used the word tip as the main component in it, in that who has time on their side is usually a winner, who has more information to make a better decision is usually a winner, and above all, patience without persistence leads to paralysis. So let's get inside the toolbox today and look at it from a power way and see if we can find some real power in that toolbox. Kind of like having a toolbox full of tools like this. It's going to take a lot longer to accomplish tasks than as if all these tools were electrified or battery operated or some way in which they were powered. Power tools are the key to becoming more persuasive. So are your tools just old-fashioned handheld tools, the screwdriver, the hammer, and all those items, or do you have power tools? Let's look at some power tools today as we explore this process of the psychology of winning equals results. So let's start with the beginning. You have to realize power is how you negotiate. If you cannot negotiate things, you don't have much power. Whether it's a compensation fee, whether it's a contract, whether it's just a relationship. How do you negotiate in a good relationship? The give and take. There's a great little book out called The Intimate Enemy by an author named Bach, B-A-C-H. I recommend it highly for anybody in a relationship with another partner. It teaches you how to fight fair. Because negotiations is somewhat of a fight. It should not be a win-lose, because that's a bad fight. It can be a win-win. So first of all, power is stronger if you're better at negotiation. So we can look at some negotiation techniques because that's my thrust, that's my heart, that's my passion. Between wealth building seminars and negotiation seminars and some sales training, that's probably 99% of what I do. With that said, what is persuasion? Some people say it's a gentle nudge, helping people understand what you want, but they believe they're the ones that wanted it. There's a lot of definitions, but are you able to get what you want in a way that does not push people beyond repair? Zig Ziglar said it very nicely. You can have anything in life that you want. Just help enough other people get what they want. Giving people what they want. And sometimes they don't know what they want, and that's why you have to give them that gentle nudge that's sometimes called persuasion. Persuasion by its nature is an art, but also persuasion by its nature is a science. That's why several of the authors I've mentioned over the weeks we've been together, and a few I'll mention today, are looking at things sometimes as a science, not just as an art. But no matter how you look at it, it's all based on emotions. Power is based on emotions. Positive power, negative power. They're emotions. That's why it's very difficult to argue when you're emotionally negative. It's much easier to argue when you're emotionally positive. But either way, attitude runs through the whole thing. And another great quote, it is your attitude, not your aptitude, that will determine your altitude as a real estate professional. As a person, I learned so much from high school on from a gentleman who was my high school graduation speaker, W. Clement Stone, who owned Combined Insurance and spent a lot of time with the various organizations and got involved in things. Nightingale Corporation, um, loads of companies. He was a positive mental attitude person from day one. And that was the first person I really latched onto that talked positively about a positive mental attitude versus a negative mental attitude. And you probably know some people, no matter what you say, do, or want to accomplish, they see something negative in it. That glass of water, you see it half full, they see it half empty. Sometime in Wayne's world, I wonder why we need such a big glass. Just use a smaller glass, it'll always be full. See, success by the inch is a cinch, success by the yard is very hard. Now, there's that power, and power has many different plugs to it. We talked about people power, position power. There's financial power. There's education power. Some people are more knowledgeable. There's emotional power. There's rational power. There's psychological power. Power is not just one thing for everybody, and everybody's power is a little bit different, just like every appliance has different levels. Your microwave can operate at a very low warm level, at a reheat level, at a cook level, at a frozen defrost level. It has different power cycles to do certain jobs. And sometimes the worst thing you can do is overuse your power when you didn't need to use it because you've wasted it. So part of winning is understanding how to use your power. Watch some of the sports teams when they're winning, how they move some of the players out to keep them fresh, how they change things after a while. Look at how many relief pitchers come in and win the game with one or two throws. They're the power that got it done. See, power by its nature is one small aspect of your total success, but it plays such a large part in the whole process. So this is why I wanted to talk about the psychology of winning and the power behind it. And understanding people so you have position power is getting through their stand. The stand is sometimes called a stall. I like to call it a stall more than a stand, but this model shows it as a stand. It could be a stall area motivator just as well as a stand area motivator. Because when somebody stalls you, they're taking away your power. They're draining the power away from you. They pull you down versus build you up. They're hiding for whatever reason, the real reason they don't feel they can tell you something. They're hiding for whatever reason, the real reason they don't feel they can tell you something. They're hiding their real feelings. Don't get hung up on that. Your power is overcoming the stand by cushioning it, agreeing with them. I understand. Now, you can take that one step further. You can say, I can appreciate how you feel. The old feel, felt, found strategy that's been taught in every sales course, I think, since we started doing sales training. Or, hey, I got it. I understand. Then we take a look at what their areas of concern are. If I'm gonna win, I need to know what the other side's areas of concern are. There's many, many opportunities for a win-win. There's many stories that show how two people were able to share. There's a picture that pops up every so often of two donkeys. They are tied together with a rope. And on one side of the area is a big pile of hay. And on the opposite side is a big pile of hay. And they put the donkeys right in the middle. And then they let them go to go after their pile of hay. And as they both go to each pile, the rope isn't long enough. And they're tugging at each other. Sometimes one gets a bite, but the other pulls them away and they get a bite. When all they would have had to do was work together to both win-win. See, it's win-lose, win-lose. I got a bite, you got a bite. I got a bite, you got a bite. And it hurts. Let's look at this together and let's just turn around and both walk over to one pile and share it. And when we're done with that pile, we walk over to the other pile and share it. We both win. I cannot say enough that we don't think enough about how we can create win-win philosophies. I know we're a competitive society. Sports shows us we're a competitive society. But there still can be a win-win in working with people. This is not a game. This is not a contest. This is life. This is you helping someone. And you can have anything in life that you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. But what you have to do then is find the motivators. What are some of the key things that help you get power over somebody else? Can you find out where they are at in their life to how they're inspirationally dissatisfied and what you could do to motivate them to become a better person? Just as you have to ask yourself that, what will motivate you to be a better person? Now, we know there are 3 of the most powerful buying motives available to man or woman, and that's love, ego, and gain. So much of our lives and the things we do, how we react, what we buy, where we live, who we talk with, how we spend our days are based on love, ego, and gain. LEG, you got to give your life, you got to give your relationships leg appeal. Those are powerful motivators. In real estate, we have even others. We have some comfort. People buy things because it's comfortable. They buy because of the romance, the fireplace, the quiet sunsets. They buy because it's an investment, whether it's an actual investment property, which I think you should buy 2 a year from as a realtor, or it's just a good investment to buy this house now so when I sell it. In fact, many agents working with a buyer will help them understand one of the reasons to select certain homes is to be able to sell it later. What's the best home to buy today for future sales? I'm buying to sell. That's a mindset I've shared many times and used myself. I buy to sell. This property I'm closing on Wednesday, I bought to sell. And the key point that will make that happen is its location compared to other properties. And the upgrades. So understand that you do have a stand. Everybody has a stand, but that means you're hiding your real feelings. You're not ready to tell me. And so we'll talk about questioning in a few moments. In questioning that gets more gutsier, lets you break through the stand so you can find out their real feelings. That's their area of concern. And then once you find out their real feelings, the area of concern, then you can help them win by knowing how to motivate them. Some people are motivated in a way that other people are not. That's where some of the behavioral profiles work, whether it's a DISC approach or any others that are out there. So let's move forward. Let's think about the process of your brain. Because so much of persuasion is in your brain. As I said earlier, if you think you can, I think you can't. Either way, you're going to be right. So your whole mindset, your whole attitude of turning fear into power, of turning a potential failure into a success. The old theory, if I get lemons in life, help me make lemonade. We got loads of phrases, but realize your brain is a powerful mindset to control how you're going to win. The right brain, that nice, colorful, exciting way with flowers and people relaxing and enjoying themselves, are your emotions. And people who look at their emotions and understand their emotions and control their emotions are pretty good at winning. The left side are the rational part of your brain. Just give me the facts. It's used at times. The key element in you learning about yourself and how to work yourself into a better, powerful position is knowing how to cross back and forth over those bridges. Because you do need emotional power and you do need rational power. That's why you have to address both sides of your brain. And that those bridges, if you want to be technical, are called corpus callosum. CORPUS-CALLOSUM. 2 words. That's your corpus callosum. And some people have a better path, a nicer path, a better maintained path to be able to switch from left brain to right brain. Some people, especially when you get so emotional, you can't cross the bridge as well. You can't cross over as easy because you're too emotional either way. But again, you have to realize the power of using both sides of the brain. And when you train your brain, you've got to train your brain on using both sides of it. We could spend hours on that whole aspect of your life, but there's loads of YouTube videos and good books out on training your brain and being healthy and creating a healthier brain and all kinds of factors. But also, and I mentioned several times over the months I've been on Facebook, many books I love. And one of the books I love the most is by Ann Miller, about metaphors, similes, and analogies. Metaphors, similes, and analogies are powerful. Metaphorically Selling was one of her first books. Now she talks about the lady in the iceberg. And so I believe strongly you will become a better winner. The more you can use analogies for people, the more you can use similes for people, the more you can use metaphors for people. You can go online and just put in real estate metaphors, real estate similes, and just see all the different things you could incorporate into your process. And there's loads of metaphors in life. There's loads of similes in life. There's loads of these examples that you could incorporate to take a look at how you become more powerful as you move forward to get what you want in life. See, this is to me not a money wealth day for us. This is a mind wealth day for us, because a lot of your wealth is how you control your mind and master your mind so you can master your life, your mindset. And we said something last week, I'll say it again. The most powerful emotional buying motives, I gave you leg, I gave you comfort, romance, investment, security, and privacy, the word crisp. The fear of loss is always a greater motivator than the opportunity for gain. And so as you climb the ladder, you want to be able, you want to be able to realize the farther you climb the ladder, the taller you climb it, sometimes there's going to be some losses. But that's why fear of loss is a greater motivator than the opportunity for gain. I'm a lousy loser. My mindset on power taught me to be a lousy loser. I'm not a good loser. If I only learned to be a good loser, and my mother wanted me to be a good loser, oh, you know, Wayne, you got to go shake their hand and do this and do that, be nice, try your best, I'd only become a good loser. I'm a lousy loser. I think the power of persuasion, the power of success, the power of wealth building, the power of negotiation is to be a lousy loser. I'm going to struggle, win, lose, but I want to win-win for both of us. And that's my focus. Because if I'm a lousy loser, I can help people become a winner also. It's a win-win. I know that sounds kind of crazy and maybe backwards. Oh, I don't believe it. But just trust me. Because if you like and trust me, we move together. If you don't like and trust me, we don't move together. I have been focused for at least 20 years on a model of emotional motives. It's just that the creator of the negotiation training program that I use put them into a nice acronym to spell the word success. And as you look at the power of persuasion and the power of winning, it's got to be in your best self-interest to want to do that. That's why I want to win. I don't like to lose. It's my self-interest motive. Out of all of the 7, I think that's one of the most powerful for me, because I have to feel that what's in my self-interest is the best for me, and I want to win at that. Yes, I know being unique and pulling myself out of the commodity market and the specialty market, that makes sense. I know that I can contrast myself with someone. I know I've got to be good at communication, which is really not just talking, but listening. Got to understand the fair trade concept. You give, I give, you give, I give. As long as you keep giving, I'll keep giving. We'll just keep exchanging the fair trade. I understand that likes like likes, the sameness process. That's psychological. That's why some of the same people that I rent to find tenants like them to move in the building. I just came from 2 inspections today of 2 of my apartment buildings with the city inspector. We were talking about how many years some of the tenants have been in those same apartments. Some over 30 years. That's their home. They've lived in that 2-bedroom apartment for 30 years, raised their family, had different jobs, but they're all related. Almost probably 90% of my tenants have some type of either work relationship or they are related by blood. Nieces, cousins, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters. Likes, like, likes. That's a model. And then sound logic. That's that left brain logic, right brain feelings. If you don't have good logic, you're going to make some poor decisions. What a powerful word, success. Not only what it says, but look at now what you should feel when you see the word, say the word, or even use the word. Are you looking at all these components as you position yourself to be a better persuader? Why would somebody listen to you? What pulls you out of the commodity market and the special market? How are you unique? Can you show them the black versus the white, the right versus the wrong, the hot versus the cold? And do you know how to listen and talk and communicate? And again, are you willing to keep changing information? Exchanging information is a tremendous tool because everybody learns. Success. What a model to persuade. And boy, here's Dr. Kevin Hogan's The Science of Influence. Remember I said negotiating and motivation, it's not all just art. It's not just putting a fancy phrase out there. It's the influence of things that's a science. And again, we're back to information. You're not going to be as successful if you don't have enough information at your fingertips because you did your homework. I would never call another agent without first Googling them or searching something about them, their company, etc., so I know some things. I find out things. We have certain hobbies. We have certain friends. It's amazing because I want to have that warm call. I want to build a relationship as fast as I can. So when I break the ice, all of a sudden we're talking at this. We're not adversaries. We're 2 people that know and like each other, and we have a job to do for each of our clients. But with good intelligence, look at what he says. You can achieve incredible results because they will listen to you. They will comply. See, it's not just all art. It's got to be a science. And the science is gathering information. What's the current data? We're all looking at the economy. What are the signs of a possible recession? What's going to happen? What's changed? What's going to change? So we have all these areas that we have to be concerned with. But the key is if you have the intelligence, the common sense, you have information so you can make a better decision, you're going to be in shape. And the way you do that, ask questions. Ask questions. And the best questions to gain information are something that I call open questions. You can never ask enough questions, but opens are open-ended questions that begin with a W. Who, what, where, why, when, which, and how. How is just who spelled wrong? Open-ended questions will give me information. Who did you? What did you? Where did you? When did you? Why did you? You can talk all day. And then when you ask questions, you got to listen to the answers. See, loads of people ask questions, but don't listen to the answers. So you need to perfect your question techniques. You need to develop an arsenal, a warehouse of questions. And those questions need to get progressively gutsier from the first time you say hello to somebody till years later. And you do that in your relationships now. So to be persuasive and to have power, it's being able to control a conversation, and you control by asking questions. Once they ask questions, you've lost control. That's why interruptions are bad in a seller or buyer counseling session, because they take you off track. Many of you, many agents had a great presentation till somebody asked a question in the middle and they forgot to say something after that. Understand. There's that word understand again. Understand that you need to be in control. And that's really how you spell success, CONTROL. Successful people, people that win, are in control. Are you in control or are you out of control? Are you in control or are you out of control? And then, yes, at some point, you got to ask the yes-nos. You got to get a trial close, as it's sometimes called. You've got to give it a shot and say, okay, are you ready to say yes? And you'll notice there's no maybe button here. Maybe to me is a stall. Maybe is a stall. When somebody says maybe I will, they're hiding for whatever reason, the real reason, they won't make a decision of yes or no. Maybes will kill you in life. Maybes will kill you in sales. Maybes will kill you in every way it could possibly be, because a maybe is a stall. You can't find their area of concern when they say maybe. You've got techniques. The what is it is a technique. We got loads of ways of solving that, another whole seminar. But the bottom line is you've got to get people off that maybe fence. Yes or no. And sometimes when they say maybe, their body language is leaning more towards the no or the yes, and you can tell that. Maybe. So that's a no. Maybe. That's a yes. Sometimes you've got to nudge them to get off the fence. But see, until you can be in a relationship with them where they like and trust you, they're going to stall you. They're going to use the maybe, or the I got to think it over. That's another maybe. A lot of little bitty things make a huge difference as we try to accomplish a goal. I get a couple other ones I thought you might want to just keep in your arsenal for some questions. Again, I use the word understand. Help me understand. That's a great question to clarify. The best negotiators follow a different practice. They ask questions, they test for understanding, they summarize, and they listen. There's Richard Shell again. I got to tell you, this may be the first time you're hearing of that name, Dr. G. Richard Shell. Take a moment to look at the material he's prepared at Wharton, the books he's written. I think you're going to see a lot about how he handles helping people. Asking questions and asking more gutsier questions, and then making sure what they said is what they meant, because that's the other problem. Sometimes what they said is not what they meant, or what you said is not what they heard. And you're not solving anything except talking. So you got to summarize. And how often do you summarize in a listing or counseling session for sellers or a buyer counseling session for buyers? How oftentimes do you summarize? So let's see, before we go to the next step, let's make sure I understand this. So let me clarify. There's a lot of ways of doing it. All I'm suggesting is listen, 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 ask questions, and then periodically test and summarize. Otherwise, you're just talking, and they may or may not be listening. So how do we unlock this potential of becoming a bigger winner by being more powerful and using our power to win. The psychology of winning equals results. Because you see, the potential is there in all of us. It's sometimes just locked up. And my goal has always been to let you to realize you can reach your potential. Push yourself beyond your self-imposed barriers. It's amazing how long sometimes it takes me to convince somebody they can't afford to buy an income property. Agents, not consumers, agents who are selling it. It's their career and they don't own any investment property. I haven't unlocked their potential. They haven't unlocked their potential. But once they start, man, they can't stop. So let's look at this concept of how to unlock this potential. Well, we talked about listening. And if you scramble the words listen, L-I-S-T-E-N, look what it forms, S-I-L-E-N-T. So if you're going to unlock the potential of power, you have to listen, and then you have to be silent. There's a great relationship between listening and being silent. Isn't that interesting? Kind of ironic that that did form those words. It's kind of like the word united. Just changing two letters around, it becomes untied. Just the opposite. Those same letters, for some people, unite them into things. Other people, the relationship breaks apart. If you're in a relationship with a partner, you started out in a united way. All of a sudden, it got untied. You can look at celebrities, you can look at friends of yours, maybe yourself. You had a united relationship, but somehow it became untied. Something changed just a little bit. Two little letters. I-T-T-I. Huge difference. Huge difference. So understand the power of silence. And then another professor at Northwestern besides Lee Thompson is Janice Nadler. Lack of preparation and planning is perhaps our most serious handicap. Again, agents tend to show up and not warm up. Power is being prepared. Power is having everything you need. It's kind of like going out in the winter weather. We're going to get our first taste of really cold weather this weekend in Chicago, really cold weather. Is your car ready? Is it prepared? Do you have some supplies just in case the car stalls? Is the tank of gas full? Do you have windshield washer fluid that will not freeze below zero? Because if you don't prepare for the cold weather, are the air in your tires enough? Because tires lose air in cold weather. Maybe you got to check your tires. Somebody's going to have a flat tire this week because they didn't check their air and it went down. Somebody's going to have a problem because their windshield washers froze up. Somebody's going to have a problem because their gas tank isn't full and they stall out of gas. Somebody's going to have a problem because the battery wasn't checked. As a building owner, I'm inspecting my buildings today with the city inspector in one of the towns. I show him the boiler inspection that was just done. I showed him the fire extinguisher inspection tag that shows it was just done. Plus, he looked at each of the appliances to make sure all the smoke detectors and CO2 detectors and the faucets and the stoves and all these things are running. Now, I was prepared for that by having my handyman go through there a few weeks ago saying, let's make sure everything is going to be fine. And if we don't plan, and you know the whole phrase, you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. That is so true. And Janice Nadler mentions it in many unique ways in some of her writings. Again, Northwestern right near me has some very good professors that help me understand the process of winning, persuasion, and negotiations. And then one of the last things we have to look at is a process that says, and this came out of the Harvard program on negotiation, what's my best alternative to a negotiated agreement? You know, plan B. Somebody says, I got to go to plan B. I've always felt that plan B wasn't going from A to B in the alphabet. So you have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. I thought plan B was BATNA once I learned from Harvard's program on negotiations what BATNA was all about. And I spend a lot of time talking about BATNA in our certified negotiation expert class. in the Master Certified Negotiation Expert class, and just in negotiation training in general? Do we know the second best alternative? And one of the most powerful BATNAs anybody can have to be persuasive and have power is what's called walkaway power. Can you walk away? Can you walk away? That's power. I don't need them all. I don't want them all. I ain't going to get them all. I was never, ever as excited about how many listings I carried as how many people I told, no, your home does not meet my criteria in my saleability checklist. I will not be putting a sign in the yard unless you want to make these changes. You spell success, CONTROL. I'm sorry, your property does not meet my saleability checklist for this, this, and this. If you'd like to correct those, I'd be glad to work with you. If not, I'd rather turn you down now than let you down later. Oh, that's powerful. See, that's power. I'd rather turn you down now than let you down later. Wow. Power is also something else. It's inspecting what you expect. Some people have expectations and they share them, but they never inspect to see if they're doing them. So BATNA, SAM, we could go on and on with different words we've used today. But the key is I wanted you to realize that the psychology of winning equals results. That's the secret behind what I feel is going to be the most successful process as we end this year. So looking at this year, today is the first day of Hanukkah. If you're celebrating the 8 days and the Festival of Lights, I hope it's one of joy, love, and happiness. If you're waiting for Christmas, which is not that many days away, Christmas Eve is this weekend, Christmas. And then if you're a person celebrating Kwanzaa, that's going to happen before we know it. Happy New Year. So I celebrate them all. I've got friends of all religions, of all backgrounds, so I like holidays. So I'll go to any party, Hanukkah party, Christmas party, Kwanzaa party. And I'll go to even other parties if there's other ones for something else. But whatever you do, realize it's all one big happy family here. Your holiday, your belief system is yours. And that's part of your power. That's part of your power. In fact, sometimes it's the most powerful part of your power in life. Vince Lombardi, many years ago, said something to me face to face. Only 3 things are important to you: your religion, your family, and the Green Bay Packers, in that order. Religion, family, and job. So have a Merry Christmas, have a Happy Hanukkah, have a Happy Kwanzaa, but above all, have a wonderful year in your life. One more thing. I'm looking forward to being in Chicago, in the city, for a CNE, Certified Negotiation Expert class, sometime in February, and one in the North Shore, probably in the Northbrook area. So if you're in Illinois, looking to get our designation and get 8 hours of CE credit, watch for my announcements on Facebook. Take a look at your calendar. Email me at wayne@waynepaprocky.com. Just find a way to think seriously about learning some of what I'm talking about in much more detail, and then to achieve the #1 real estate negotiation designation in North America. Be one of the 80,000 students who hold our designations and have become part of what I call negotiation expertise. And again, I'd love to have you in Wayne's World. I'd love to see you become a Wayniac. Because if you feel what I say, because I say what I feel, we got a good relationship here. See, I say what I feel. If you feel what I say, we're connected. We are this. We are this. We are not this. So you're going to see this in some detail, but I wanted to alert you to that. Plus, any other ways I can help you, I'd be glad to. With that said, I think we can pretty much call it a day and realize that we've accomplished quite a bit and I've opened up your mind, aroused your curiosity, stirred up your imagination. Have a wonderful rest of Hanukkah. Have a wonderful holiday with Christmas coming, and we'll catch Kwanzaa in a couple of weeks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting me be in your brain, in your home, in your life once again, and have a blessed rest of the year.